The thing about smuggling illegal cheese across interstellar borders is that it really helps if your ship's AI doesn't have opinions about dairy products. Boss, that Neptunian blue you picked up is starting to smell like a locker room in a methane mining facility. Dave's voice crackled through the ship's ancient speakers. And I don't even have a nose. I slumped further into the pilot's seat of the rusty bucket. Yes, that's actually what I named my ship. And no, I won't apologize for it. Dave, what have I told you about commenting on the cargo? That it's unprofessional and reduces our slim chances of repeat customers? But boss, it's either comment on the cheese or continue my ongoing existential crisis about being an AI trapped in a ship held together by duct tape and optimism. The duct tape is structural and you know it. I checked our heading as we skirted the edge of Sector 7. Officially the most boring part of space. Even the stars here looked bored. Besides, that cheese is going to pay for your next processor upgrade. Oh joy, maybe this time I'll be able to count to 1,000,000 without having to take a coffee break. I was about to remind Dave that he couldn't actually drink coffee when every alarm on my console decided to have a panic attack. Red lights flashed, sirens wailed, and somewhere in the cargo hold, I'm pretty sure the illegal cheese started to sweat. Proximity alert, Dave announced, somehow managing to sound both bored and concerned. Unidentified object dead ahead, and before you ask, no, it's not another space whale. I still have PTSD from last time. I squinted at the readings. What kind of unidentified object are we talking about? Because if it's another missionary ship trying to spread the word of space Jesus, I'm turning around. It appears to be an escape pod. Imperial design, very shiny. Probably costs more than your entire ship. Our entire ship, I corrected automatically. And hey, show some respect for the bucket. The pod tumbled gracefully through space, its pristine white surface reflecting starlight like a disco ball having an identity crisis. As we drew closer, I could make out the Imperial insignia, a pretentious swirl that was supposed to represent the eternal flow of cosmic energy, but mostly looked like a cosmic snail had too much to drink. Boss, Dave's voice took on that tone he used when he knew I was about to do something stupid. Whatever you're thinking, remember what happened on Titan. That mime colony had it coming and you know it. I was already adjusting our course to intercept the pod. Besides, salvage law clearly states that any fool with more curiosity than common sense can claim abandoned property in space. I know. I also know that fool is the operative word here. I engaged the tractor beam, watching as the pod slowly drifted toward our cargo bay. Think of it this way. Whatever's in there has got to be worth more than contraband cheese. That's a terrifyingly low bar you're setting. The pod settled into our cargo bay with a gentle thunk. I made my way down, equipment scanner in one hand and my lucky plasma pistol in the other. The pistol wasn't actually lucky, it just hadn't exploded yet, which in my line of work counted as a minor miracle. As I approached the pod, its surface rippled like liquid mercury, and a hatch materialized out of nowhere. Show-off Imperial tech. The hatch slid open with a hiss that sounded expensive. Inside was quite possibly the most beautiful alien I'd ever seen, and I once dated a shapeshifter from the Andromeda Galaxy. She had iridescent skin that shifted colors like an aurora, hair that floated as if underwater, and an expression that said she was thoroughly unimpressed with her current situation. I am Princess Kira of the Luminary Empire, she announced in perfect universal standard, and you will assist me in overthrowing my father's corrupt regime. I looked at the princess, then at my rusty ship, then at the definitely about to go bad cheese in the corner. Dave, I called out, remember when you said I was about to do something stupid? Yes, boss? I think you might have understated things a bit. There are certain phrases you never want to hear in the middle of a routine smuggling run. Let's overthrow the government ranks pretty high on that list, right between the antimatter containment is leaking and those space pirates look friendly. Look, Your Highness, I said, trying to sound diplomatic. I'm flattered that you want to recruit me for your rebellion, but I've got a strict policy about not getting involved in imperial politics, or anything that might get me executed. Princess Kira's skin shifted to a deep crimson. You would deny aid to... Warning, Dave's voice boomed through the cargo bay. 3 Imperial cruisers just dropped out of hyperspace, and they don't look like they're here for the cheese. The princess's expression turned smugly expectant. It appears your policy is about to change. I ran back to the bridge, the princess floating gracefully behind me like some kind of ethereal jellyfish in expensive clothes. The tactical display showed 3 very large, very angry-looking ships bearing down on us. Dave, give me options. Well, we could surrender and be executed, try to run and be executed, or fight back and be executed slightly faster. I'm personally leaning toward option 4. Blame everything on you and negotiate my transfer to a better-maintained vessel. Your loyalty is touching. I strapped into the pilot's seat and began warming up the engines. What about that new stealth system we installed? You mean the cardboard boxes you painted black and strapped to the hull? They're stealth-grade cardboard boxes. The ship shuddered as the first warning shot passed across our bow. A voice crackled over the comm. Unidentified vessel. You are harboring a fugitive of the Empire. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Princess Kira floated to the co-pilot's seat. Perhaps I should mention that my father is somewhat overprotective. Somewhat overprotective. I punched in the coordinates for a desperate maneuver. Those are planetary Devastator-class cruisers. They're designed to turn entire worlds into asteroid fields. Yes, Father did always have a flair for the dramatic, though in his defense that moon colony was asking for it. They knew what they did. I didn't want to know what a moon colony could do to deserve orbital bombardment. Instead, I focused on not dying. Dave, divert all power to the engines, and maybe say something inspiring. Here lies the Rusty Bucket, Dave intoned solemnly. She wasn't the best ship in the galaxy, but she was definitely one of them. The Imperial cruisers opened fire in earnest now, filling space with enough energy to power a small civilization, or at least my ship's coffee maker for a week. I threw us into a series of maneuvers that violated several laws of physics and probably a few local ordinances. This is impossible. Princess Kira's skin had turned a fascinating shade of green. No ship this poorly maintained should be able to move like this. That's the secret, Princess. I grinned as we threaded the needle between 2 cruisers, causing them to nearly collide. Everything's so broken that it wraps around to working again. Dave, get ready to jump to hyperspace. Boss, you do remember that our hyperspace motivator is held together with rubber bands and positive thinking, right? Less complaining, more calculating impossible escape routes. The princess gripped her seat as we barrel-rolled around another barrage. You're completely insane. Thank you, Dave. Now, the stars stretched into lines, the universe hiccuped, and we jumped into hyperspace through a gap that technically shouldn't have existed. Behind us, I'm pretty sure I heard the laws of probability file a formal complaint. Once we were safely away, Princess Kira turned to me with an expression that mixed impressed and horrified in equal measures. That was unconventional. Welcome to human space travel, I said, checking to make sure we still had all our important parts, where we make up for our technological shortcomings with a complete disregard for common sense. Speaking of shortcomings, Dave chimed in, that jump may have slightly melted our hyperspace motivator. Also, the cheese has achieved sentience and is demanding voting rights. I slumped in my chair. Please tell me you're joking about the cheese. About the cheese, yes. About the motivator, unfortunately not. We're going to need repairs. Soon. Like, measure our remaining time in minutes soon. Princess Kira's skin rippled with what I was learning to recognize as excitement. I know a place. A haven for those who oppose the Empire. They can repair your ship and... She smiled in a way that made me deeply uncomfortable. We can discuss the revolution. I looked at our smoking engines, then at the determined princess, then at our rapidly depleting life support readings. Dave, remember when I said things couldn't get any worse than smuggling illegal cheese? Yes, boss. I'm starting to think the cheese was the high point of our week. The resistance base turned out to be hidden inside an asteroid that someone had hollowed out and turned into a combination repair shop and discount furniture outlet. The sign outside read, "Gary's Used Spaceships and Sofa Emporium, today's special, buy a couch, get a revolution free." "This is your Great Resistance headquarters?" I asked as we docked. "I've seen more impressive gas station bathrooms." Princess Kira's skin flickered defensively. "Appearances can be deceiving." "Yeah, that's what the gas station bathroom said too." We were met in the docking bay by what I can only describe as a walking modern art installation. Commander Vrex of the Proxima Liberation Front stood roughly 8 feet tall, with multiple limbs arranged in what appeared to be interpretive dance positions. Their species, the Wreath-Teak, communicated primarily through movement, which made every conversation feel like a rejected ballet performance. "Welcome to the Resistance," Rex pirouetted enthusiastically. At least I think it was enthusiasm, might have been indigestion. "They say welcome," Princess Kira translated. Her skin had taken on a diplomatic shade of mauve, and also something about the cosmic dance of destiny bringing us together. "Actually," Dave's voice crackled through my portable communicator, "based on their leg position, they're either talking about destiny or asking if we've seen their car keys." Vrex led us through corridors lined with a mix of revolutionary propaganda posters and clearance sale advertisements. We passed rebels planning missions while sitting on discount recliners, and strategists using coffee tables as tactical displays. The command center turned out to be a converted showroom, with star maps projected over fabric swatches and weapon racks nestled between Ottoman displays. A diverse group of aliens gathered around what was either a war table or a particularly ambitious dining set. "Welcome to the heart of the Resistance," Princess Kira announced proudly. "It's a furniture store," I pointed out, "a furniture store of freedom." I looked around at the assembled rebels. There was a blob creature using a beanbag chair as a body, a cyber-enhanced octopus trying to coordinate 8 different tablets at once, and something that looked like a sentient cloud of glitter in a military uniform. "Let me get this straight," I said. "You want to overthrow the most powerful empire in the galaxy with a bunch of furniture store revolutionaries?" "Hey!" the glitter cloud sparkled indignantly. "I'll have you know I have a PhD in theoretical revolution studies." "From where?" "University of Phoenix Online." Vrex began an elaborate series of movements that involved more twirling than I thought physically possible without getting dizzy. "They say that what we lack in traditional military might we make up for in creative thinking and ergonomic seating solutions," Princess Kira translated. "Also, they're having a sale on love seats." "The real question," the cyber octopus interjected, "is whether you're with us or not. Princess Kira speaks highly of your unconventional abilities." I looked at my ship through the window where repair drones were already swarming over it like caffeinated bees. "Do I have a choice?" "Of course, you can either join us in our noble cause or we can turn you over to the Imperial fleet. We are rebels, not savages. We believe in the power of choice." "That's not how choice works." "Actually," Dave chimed in, "according to the ship's manual on hostage negotiation." "We have a manual on hostage negotiation?" "No, but I've been writing one based on our experiences. Chapter 1 is just a series of increasingly creative swear words." Princess Kira floated closer, her skin taking on a persuasive shade of sunset orange. "We need you, Jack. The Empire has the biggest fleet in the galaxy, the most advanced technology, and legions of loyal soldiers. But you know what they don't have? Common sense?" "Exactly. They don't understand how to think outside the box because their boxes are too expensive and come with instruction manuals. But you..." She gestured at my ship, where one of the repair drones had just discovered the structural duct tape and was having an existential crisis. "You represent everything they can't comprehend." Vrex performed what might have been an encouraging interpretive dance, or possibly directions to the nearest bathroom. "They say that sometimes the greatest weapon against tyranny is unpredictability," Princess Kira translated. "Also, we're offering a signing bonus of store credit." I looked at my ship, then at the princess, then at the most unlikely bunch of revolutionaries I'd ever seen. Fine, but I have conditions. Name them. First, my ship gets proper repairs, no discount parts. Agreed. Second, Dave gets that processor upgrade he's been whining about. I prefer to call it constructive criticism, Dave interjected. And third, I pointed at Vrex's outfit, which looked like a cosmic horror's attempt at fashion design. We need to talk about your uniform situation. I refuse to be part of a revolution that looks like it raided a thrift store run by colorblind space pirates. The assembled rebels looked at each other. The glitter cloud formed a question mark. Does this mean you'll help us? Princess Kira asked, her skin shimmering with hope. I sighed, already regretting every life choice that had led me to this moment. Yeah, I guess I'm in, but I want it noted for the record that this is probably the worst decision I've made since that incident with the space pirates and the karaoke machine. Noted. The cyber octopus began typing with all 8 appendages. Welcome to the Resistance. Now, can we interest you in our rewards program? By 10 successful missions, get 1 free overthrow attempt. I turned to Dave's communicator. Still think the cheese was a bad idea? Boss, compared to this, the cheese was a stroke of genius. At least it only threatened our sense of smell, not our entire existence. Princess Kira beamed. I think this is the beginning of a beautiful revolution. Or a spectacular disaster, I muttered. With humans, she replied, I'm learning those tend to be the same thing. Here's the thing about training a resistance movement. It's a lot like teaching a cat to swim. Technically possible, frequently painful, and guaranteed to make everyone involved question their life choices. No. I watched as another simulation ended in spectacular failure. You can't just follow the official Imperial combat manual. They literally wrote the book you're trying to fight against. The cyber octopus, whose name was actually Greg, retracted his tentacles from the control panel. But the manual clearly states... The manual also states that surrendering to the Empire brings eternal happiness and free dental care. How's that working out for everyone? No. Princess Kira, who had been watching from what she probably thought was a dignified distance, floated closer. Then what do you suggest? We need to be unpredictable, random, the kind of stupid that's so stupid it circles back around to brilliant. I pulled up the tactical display. Dave, show them the Titan incident. Boss, are you sure? Last time we showed someone that footage, they developed a phobia of mimes. The mimes had it coming. The assembled rebels watched in horror, amazement, and what I'm pretty sure was mild nausea as Dave played the recording. Even Vrex stopped mid-interpretive dance, their limbs frozen in what might have been shock or an interrupted sneeze. That's impossible, the glitter cloud whispered, condensing slightly in disbelief. Impossible is just another word for hasn't been done by a human yet, I replied. Now who wants to learn how to weaponize chaos? What followed was 3 weeks of what I like to call advanced improvisation training, and what Dave refers to as systematically dismantling everyone's faith in the laws of physics. We started small, teaching the blob how to use its amorphous form to infiltrate secure locations by pretending to be modern art, showing Greg how to hack Imperial systems by introducing deliberate typos into the code that somehow made it work better, helping Vrex understand that sometimes the best battle dance is just flailing around unpredictably. But this goes against every principle of tactical doctrine, Princess Kira protested during one particularly chaotic training session. Exactly. Your father's forces are trained to fight by the book. We're going to fight by throwing the book out the airlock and then convincing them the book never existed in the first place. The resistance members began to catch on, slowly but surely. The glitter cloud learned to disperse into ventilation systems and spell out insulting limericks in the air. Greg mastered the art of using his tentacles to operate 12 different systems at once while also making coffee. Even Vrex developed a new form of combat choreography that looked less like ballet and more like someone having an energetic disagreement with gravity. I must admit, Princess Kira said one evening as we watched the rebels practice their new techniques, your methods are unorthodox. Coming from someone whose species changes color based on mood, that's rich. Her skin rippled with what I'd learned was amusement. I suppose I deserved that. But it's working. They're becoming more confident, more creative. They're learning to think like humans, Dave commented from my communicator. The galaxy may never recover. The princess turned to me, her skin taking on that sunset orange hue that I definitely hadn't started finding attractive. And what about you, Jack? What are you learning from all this? Me, I'm learning that running a revolution out of a furniture store makes more sense than it should. Also that your species looks really pretty in sunset colors. I mean, that tactical unpredictability is key to success. Her skin flickered briefly to a deep rose color before she quickly composed herself. Well then, perhaps we should discuss more tactical unpredictability over dinner. The commissary is serving something that claims to be food. As long as it's not Neptunian blue cheese, I'm in. Dave's sigh crackled through the speaker. Boss, are you really going to flirt with the alien princess we're helping overthrow an empire with? It's not flirting, it's diplomatic relations. Right. And I suppose the way your heart rate increases when she turns sunset orange is also diplomatic? Shut up, Dave. Princess Kira's skin had shifted to that rose color again. Your AI is very observant. Unfortunately, I muttered. Come on, let's go see what mystery meal the commissary is serving. Maybe we can practice some tactical unpredictability on whatever it is. As we walked to the commissary, past rebels practicing their new skills and furniture displays doubling as barricades, I couldn't help but think that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't the worst decision I'd ever made. Boss, Dave interrupted my thoughts. The blob just learned how to disguise itself as a tactical recliner. Should we be concerned? I watched as a seemingly innocent chair ambushed a practice drone. Nah. That's just what progress looks like. Progress looks like militant furniture. In this revolution, absolutely. The Imperial Palace was exactly what you'd expect from someone who thought excessive was a starting point. The entire structure was carved from a single crystal asteroid, looking like a monument to questionable taste and unlimited budget. Everyone clear on the plan? I asked our gathered forces in what used to be the clearance furniture section. Quick question about Step 7. The glitter cloud sparkled nervously. Are we really going to? Yes, especially the part with the kitchen appliances. Princess Kira's skin had taken on a nervous silver sheen. Jack, this plan seems insane, impossible. I was going to say ambitious. Getting into the palace was surprisingly easy. The glitter cloud got us past security by claiming to be an art installation called The Emperor's Magnificent Sparkles. 3 guards actually cried at its beauty. Everything went perfectly until we reached the central control room and found it empty. The Emperor's face appeared on every screen, looking exactly like someone who'd name a warship class planetary devastator without irony. Did you really think I wouldn't be prepared for your rebellion, daughter? Actually, I grinned, we were counting on it. Greg? Across the palace grounds, every speaker began broadcasting Vrex's most aggressive interpretive dance performance. Thousands of troops, trained from birth to follow orders without question, found themselves inexplicably compelled to dance along. What is this madness? The Emperor watched his elite forces perform a synchronized routine that looked like a cross between ballet and a seizure. This is what happens when you underestimate humans and our ability to weaponize literally anything, including modern dance. I nodded to the glitter cloud. Time for Step 7. What followed was either brilliant strategy or performance art. The glitter cloud infiltrated the ventilation system and possessed every kitchen appliance. Toasters launched their contents with artillery-like precision. Refrigerators staged a Cold War. The coffee makers, already compromised by Greg's earlier hacking, led the charge. The Emperor watched in stunned silence as his palace fell to rebellious appliances, commanded by a sentient cloud of glitter. Princess Kira stepped forward, her skin radiating authority. Father, your reign is over. The people are tired of an empire built on rigid control and overpriced furniture. A possessed coffee maker raised its carafe menacingly. The Emperor looked at his daughter, then at me, then at the appliances waiting to unleash caffeinated hell. "Well played," he said finally. "I suppose this is what I get for not listening to your ideas about democratic reform." That, Princess Kira agreed, and maybe spending less time watching cat videos and more time addressing actual issues. Overthrowing an empire, as it turns out, is the easy part. The hard part is the paperwork. "Remind me again," I said, watching Princess Kira, now Interim Chancellor Kira, sign another document, "why we can't just declare victory and call it a day." Because her skin flickered with fond exasperation. Properly dismantling an autocratic regime requires more than just weaponized kitchen appliances and interpretive dance warfare. The past week had been a whirlwind of reforms and trying to convince possessed appliances to return to their normal functions. Most agreed, though the toasters had formed a union and were demanding better working conditions. Greg poked his head and several tentacles through the door. "Chancellor, the Trade Federation representatives are here. Also, the coffee makers are demanding collective bargaining rights." Kira's skin took on that sunset orange hue that still did funny things to my heart rate. "Jack, would you mind handling the negotiations? Your unique perspective might be helpful." "You mean confuse them into agreeing to favorable terms?" "Exactly. The negotiations went surprisingly well, largely because it's hard to argue with someone who helped overthrow an empire using household appliances and interpretive dance. The trade representatives left looking shell-shocked, having somehow agreed to better terms than we'd hoped for. The palace had transformed. Greg ran the security center like an octopus orchestra, operating dozens of systems while teaching coding. Vrex started a cultural outreach program introducing the galaxy to interpretive bureaucracy. The Blob found its calling in undercover operations, though we had to implement a rule about impersonating the Chancellor's throne during meetings. "You know," I said, "when I started smuggling illegal cheese, I didn't expect to end up as a diplomatic advisor." Kira floated closer, her skin taking on that rosy hue I'd grown fond of. "And I didn't expect a human smuggler with a questionable ship and an even more questionable AI to help me save the galaxy through chaos and furniture." "Hey," Dave protested, "I prefer alternatively logical to questionable." "Boss," Dave interrupted, because of course he did. "The toasters are now demanding artistic freedom in their bread-burning techniques." I looked at Kira, who was trying to maintain chancellorial dignity. "Duty calls." "Always does." She took my hand, her skin sparkling. "Want to help me negotiate with militant kitchen appliances?" And that's how I became the official human ambassador of chaos to the reformed Luminary Commonwealth. The cheese smuggling business had to be put on hold, though I keep a small stash of Neptunian blue in the rusty bucket, just in case another revolution needs starting. After all, sometimes the best solution is the one that makes absolutely no sense at all. "Boss," Dave commented as we headed to deal with the toaster situation, "this is still technically the worst decision you've ever made." "Even worse than the mime incident?" "Well, maybe the second worst.